And there we go. We are live, Terry. All right, folks, welcome back to the Regulators for another week. We're short-handed big time today. Just me and Terry. Hope you folks don't mind. Which is Terry Van Horn, SEO Pros, SEO Dojo. How's it going, brother?
Good, Dave. Good.
Yeah, another week in paradise, right? Yeah. So, that was funny. One of my favorite messages, hey, Terry. You know, like I don't know. I often talk about how you have friends and stuff, but how many of these people do we actually talk to on a regular basis? Not many, right? So I get a message from someone the other day, and he's like, "Hey, Dave, how you been? Long time no talk. Life is good. This and that. Blah blah blah." I'm thinking, wow, I haven't talked to this guy in 2 years. Next line. So I got this message at Webmaster Tools. I was like, there we go. So that's what this is about. So yeah, the guy got a manual penalty on his personal site and blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's funny. You know, that's when people kind of talk to us half the time is when they need something, and it's, hey buddy, how you been? You know, a long time no talk. All right. So yeah, folks, just the two of us at the moment. Steve's working on some technical difficulties with Google Plus, nothing unusual. And so we got a hold of Jim Hedger, and he might pop by at some point. We haven't seen him, and so we don't know where he's doing. Anyways, we'll continue along. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I know where I wanted to go first. So, all right. So, yeah, wow. Sorry. Couldn't resist that one. So I guess for the folks listening or watching or wherever you are, so there was a spate of these so-called negative SEO extortion email story that came out, I guess, a week ago, or probably since the last show. I don't think we covered it last week, did we? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, so basically, I think it's an Indian company or somebody along those lines is threatening people for some paltry sum. That if they don't pay this money, that they're going to bomb them with bad links from X-Rummer and stuff like that. Good thing you're on vacation, Matt.
Yeah, I bet they're not on shore. I think Google, anything from China, Russia, whatever, that should be a free zone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's it. Just discount any link coming out of there. Fuck it. .cn, forget it, like, you and I both know disavows, right? Anything with the .cn, I'm not even checking that one, right into the
I'm at the point now where, say, for instance, a site has to be pretty good for me to kind of let it slide for a UK site. In other words, I want my citations and my links as close to home as possible.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, obviously. I just take the fucking, buzzsaw out and cut pretty much anything, Wow. Oh, you can even look at URLs after doing this for 4 years, Oh, mommy blog, okay. Homewithmommy.com.
Okay.
Or homewithmommy.blogspot.com. It's like,
right. Or, for instance, someone who's selling, say, a consumer product in the EU, right? They shouldn't be advertising in the United States, especially when that product is also in the United States. So pretty much anything from the United States, in my opinion, is probably tainted to some degree. Not a natural link. Yeah, don't you love the new design of this site, Dave?
No, yeah.
Oh,
Step backwards.
So, by rights, this thing should be hit hard by the pen. And anything that's based around UX, the top of that page, I don't see any MC myself.
Yeah. Well, it's got a title.
Okay. I'll give you that, Dave. That's a good, it's got at least one banner in a place that's a big no-no. You know the one.
Yeah, well, stupid enough, dude. That I doubt that one's even an issue. Like all the panda work, I've been looking at sites that haven't been hit and sites that have been hit, and then I even went to AdWords to check where they were advising people to place it. And so I think if you have the banner underneath your navigation, well, what the fuck is that? All right, well. Anyways, if you have the banner underneath the navigation, they actually advise you to put it there. It's the sites where I've been that it's above the navigation. So, sadly enough, this is okay by Google.
Okay.
Yeah, you would think kind of defeats the purpose of the old panda, wouldn't you?
1,000 width, what that page is like.
Yeah, it's still in line with Google AdWords advice.
However, if your eyesight is in at least any way impaired, I bet you a blind guy doesn't need that's a bad thing to say. The print's a little massive in my opinion, to the point of.
So apparently these guys' website is negativeseo.cn.pn, whatever the hell that is. So yeah, but the funny thing is, I was talking to some spammers when I was, looking at some of that negative SEO problems lately, and X-Rummers apparently really it's just not a tool for it. You know what I mean? If you really want to.
I don't think X-Rummers are a problem.
Yeah, it's just a low end. It's apparently, you know what I mean? It's like a cheap ass fucking spam, software for spamming. I'm not going to mention the ones that I was told on the air as far as can do the job at industrial strict level, but. Yeah, so Google over the years, let's see, previously stating that there's almost nothing a competitor can do. To now, the terms, the Google's line is, Google works hard to prevent other webmasters from being able to harden your rankings. They forwarded the emails to Google. Google told us that their algorithms are designed to prevent these kinds of activities for causing problems.
Oh, yeah, right.
Here they are. Yeah. Not been my experience. And of course, that's why we've seen a penguin, right? Oh no, we haven't. Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Right. Makes it too easy, and then locks people up for ever. Or what is it now? Going on 10 months? It's ridiculous.
October, so yeah, dude. That's just fucking stupid. Yeah, I feel bad for anyone who's sitting around waiting for, they do all the, Google tells them to disavow and do all these things and clean up, so they go and do it, and no effect. You just sit around and wait.
Think about it, we're only 6 weeks from fucking Black Friday. Nonsense. How can a store be prepared to sell online when they don't know what
you can't order your stock, you don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Don't know. You don't want to overbuy because then you're really screwed.
And you can't go on last year's numbers if you got whacked on the 26th of October.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're kind of fucked.
Seriously. However, okay. I've been giving this a lot of thought, Dave, and we've talked about it in the dojo. That I think there are ways. Well, there has to be a way to get some kind of recovery. Steve.
Well, we don't know if it's going to work. They're going to say it.
Halfway here.
Yeah, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. It's like saying he's got a shutout. There's only 2 minutes left. You know what I mean? You can't jinx shit.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, we hear something there, Steve. We hear some grumbling and rumbling. I hear something.
Well, hello.
Hey, there he is.
Earth to Steve. Steve.
Can you hear me now? Well, we got a Steve sighting. Anyway, so. All right.
Steve kept screwing with us now.
All right, so yeah, but it's probably 6 or 1/2 dozen the other two. If they'd released a new penguin that fucked a bunch of people with the negative stuff, then we'd be bitching about that. So I don't know. It's a rock and a hard place, I think. So, just poorly thought out along the way. I think that's the main problem. So I don't know. So yeah, you were saying the advice is as usual, disavow and thus making the case again for preventative maintenance, for fucking monitoring, for whatever.
I think
so yeah, I don't know.
there's a good reason to monitor. If you have a brand, I would be monitoring like 90.
Agreed, man. Don't wait till it's too late, especially when you don't know when that fucking penguin is coming, you know?
Right.
And if it's going to work, as they're probably trying to make it work.
If someone really wants to screw you, they're applying the SEO, negative SEO now, so it's just gotten into place as you're hit by penguin. In other words, you've got a big job in front. That's.
I know Steve trying to talk to us. Oh, there he is. Oh,
there you go.
See what happens when you start mucking about with settings you shouldn't know to muck about with?
That's right. All right.
So I missed the penguin bad conversation. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And the what was today? What was it today? We started with Dave here.
Oh yeah, it was just
negative SEO. That's
negative
SEO. Steve.
But
it was that extortion letter. You know the extortion letter was making the rounds last week.
Yeah.
And Google apparently says that they're really
on this discussion, Steve.
Google's saying that they're not to worry too much because their algorithms can find these things.
Yeah, they're going to take care of that negative SEO with their algorithms, Steve.
I'm grateful that they can tell the difference between when I pay for something like that and when somebody else pays for something like that.
Yeah. Well, now they just said they're just going to ignore every link on the internet.
That seems legitimate.
That's probably the only way to fix it.
All right, no, we can always just not count the links, Steve.
So what we're basically saying is the appendix in the original white paper on Google no longer applies, and basically all links are advertising.
Yep.
It seems fair.
Well, geez, we should all be on that SSL too, Steve. You know.
Yeah.
We avoided that one this week. I'm sure it'll come up again.
We just did. All right, where to? Why did Google manual actions return a bug, error, or penalty? What was this one?
Oh, the usual. It's broken. Fix it. Only now, what's happening? I've seen this. They give you a site-wide manual. Then they take that off, but they put a partial on. So it says you're okay, and then it says nope. You're now got a partial. Basically, is what happens. I've also seen where people. Did you have something to say, Steve?
No, just the phrasing caught me as funny.
Okay. As usual. Okay, and oh fuck! Now I lost my place.
Nice.
You derailed that train.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you were saying that site-wide one will disappear and then be nothing, and then all of a sudden you'll have a partial.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to add, I've also seen where someone doesn't act on a manual right away. It expires, goes away for a while, and then comes back. People, they're still there when they go away. If you haven't acted, nobody swept it under the rug for you. It's still there. It's just lingering.
Yeah, I read some of those too. Where the guy emails me and goes, "Well, it's not there anymore." I'm like, "Yeah."
Hey, we got the penalty out. We didn't do it.
I was like, "No, we haven't put a reconsideration request in. We haven't done anything. So believe me, it's probably is the traffic going up? No. So come on.
Well, get ready to get in the game. I'm pretty sure when they do come around, it's a little bit rougher then. if you look after it right away. Especially if you continue to just do the same stuff. Not learning. Take them out behind the mark.
That's a weird comment from John Mueller. This should be pretty rare, but sometimes it can happen for a good reason. For example, if the web spam team can recognize that a linking issue has been mostly cleaned up, but still sees something that needs to be taken care of, they might switch it to a partial action. I don't know. I find it hard time to believe that reviewers are going to look at stuff when there is no reply.
I was wondering if someone doesn't, if they don't have a guy who starts with it, it goes up another level and that guy says, nah, I'm going to put a partial on it now. So when one guy, and as it goes through the system, it got reapplied as a partial.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to think something along those lines. I don't think, really, there's someone manually going through their pile every fucking day.
Look, I'm pretty sure that this process isn't as synced and synced up with everything else as everybody thinks. I think it's basically all a little like the shell game that you see downtown. Very much similar. Try and find the beat. Yeah. It's actually on your leg and it's not raining.
Yeah, it's not really much coming out of them, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you don't get an actual email saying it's cleared up, then I wouldn't. The manual viewer's been known to be wonky at times.
Yeah, I don't think all that stuff is synced up. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't see too many issues with that shit. Okay, so since we're on the whole theme here of negative SEO and penguins and whatnot, let's see, we'll just go here.
We even got a pigeon this week too, Dave. The pigeon's on the menu. So we got penguins, pigeons, and pandas. Google SEO cooking, and you could just put different recipes for penguin and pigeon. We'll put us some good recipes. All right, so let's see. Is Google Penguin 3D launching today? Okay. When was this? August 15th. Oh, John Mueller said that it's coming, so it's right around the corner. So that's just like saying, "Hey, boys, it's time to put on the negative SEO." Fucking dummies.
Well, or as we know, Terry, they just kind of casually talk about this thing as they're passing in the hall, right? So.
Yeah, right.
Hey, someone asked me about that penguin thing. I forgot all about it.
Dave, that is kind of wrong. Is as we've kind of noted that they do refreshes on Fridays and weekends, and they do updates midweek. He's intimating the opposite, actually, that they do them all on Friday or something. But there's a pretty clear pattern. Refreshes on the weekend.
Yeah, but you got to figure this is probably a bit of a rewrite too, as well, right? So,
yeah, that's why I'm thinking when Penguin hits, it'll hit midweek.
Yeah. The Panda, May 19th Panda was actually announced. Who knows when the fuck it's all been around the 18th and 19th, but that was like a Monday and a Tuesday. So, but anyways, yeah. So let's see. What does Mr. Mueller say?
Steve, unmute there. Steve had some brilliance coming there. We missed it though. Turn her on, Steve.
Nope. We lost him again.
The voice again.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Steve, quit playing with the thing. Leave it alone.
I get told that a lot.
There he is. Not sure if he thought that one was getting through.
Yeah, I
testing
he
1, 2, 3.
He was playing with it there, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that we always roll all major updates and code changes late on a Friday so that we don't have to deal with it after we go home. Seems like the best time of the week to do major changes.
Oh, because then you have the weekend if anything goes wrong to fix it before Monday when business picks up again.
You got it.
Yeah, I've done a few like that.
So yeah. So yeah, he says it's been quite a while and it's not that far away. Blah blah blah. Well, that's helpful. Yeah.
I'm figuring they got to run it pretty well before Black Friday, Steve, to really give people a chance.
Yeah, but they don't care about people. All they care about is the algorithm and the computer.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm expecting more and more.
Heartless, right, Steve?
Yeah, well, I didn't say, no, they're not heartless. They just don't understand.
Oh, okay.
Google views the world as a zero-sum game. There's winners, there are losers, and one replaces the other. Therefore, there has been no change. And in the real world, it doesn't quite work that way.
Not very often.
No.
They take a powder or what?
I don't know.
No, I was just talking and tweeting and fucking shit. So, you know. But I was muted, so talking was kind of pointless. But yeah, I don't know, dude. When it comes out, it comes out. We'll see. But again, you know, whoever gets smacked down, when are they going to get the next one?
Wow.
That becomes.
Want to get hit now, just before Christmas? Ow, that would hurt.
You're fucking done. Because it won't be running again today, you know. If history's any teacher, it won't be running again anytime soon, so.
Probably not till the summer. So you're. But the main thing is you miss the whole season, right? Like.
So there's our advice, folks. Terry, my PayPal account is. Let's get on them disavows, folks, because really, you know, you don't want to get screwed. So there you go. But yeah, I don't know. This penguin thing pisses me off at this point. Again, Steve, it's kind of funny that, you know, like Panda and Penguin are supposed to be the smaller brothers of the thin content penalty and the unnatural links, whereas you'd actually want the manual penalty at this point. If you're going to, you know, fuck up at this point, go big. Get past the Penguin threshold. Get your manual action, because then you can get out of it at least. You know, like, go big or go home at this point, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least with a manual action, you can count on a human pushing a button to save you once you've cleared it up.
Yeah, you've got some recourse.
Figure out what you did. It's easier to figure out a manual than it is a panda or a penguin. Especially when, you know, recovery is whenever.
Yeah, whatever. Don't worry about it. You got there. Oh, William Rock, one of our viewers, is asking if we'd seen this, so I guess we'll go take a peek. He's shared a link here. Hold on, I'll put it up here. Oh, sorry. Google AdWords.
It's okay to sell guns, just you know, don't advertise them.
Paintball guns are now considered dangerous weapons, aren't they?
Well, yeah, if used improperly, yes, suppose you could hurt
Yes,
someone.
I just, you know, my visual was tending, you know, taking that into the hood or something, you know. Yeah, I don't know, the boys are all going to have fucking, you know, Glocks and shit, so.
It's Google figuring out our ethics for us.
Pretty soon you won't be able to point at people without being accused. Bang, bang.
Oh, my gosh.
I think stuff like that's just going too far.
Well, because, yeah, I'm sure there's lots of stuff that could potentially be dangerous for you on fucking AdWords. It's not just guns.
For a company that...
that's dangerous.
Steve, or Dave, think about it. Google allowed the prescription drug trade to get so heavy that they actually made drugs, some of them, hard to find in Canada. That's when our government put down their foot and put them out of business because people in Canada couldn't get the drugs. They were all going to the States. It was nonsense. But they fucking have no problem doing that. But can't sell paintball guns, folks.
Yeah,
That's fucking moralistic. That's absurd. That's absurd.
There's no political agenda at Google at all.
No.
That's why I don't trust these guys as far as I can fucking throw. Like, seriously. Why do they want SSL? So they can fucking do every transaction on the internet or have the capabilities to do it. It's nonsense. Look out.
So I like how they classify, they say other weapons designed to injure others in combat, self-defense, or sport. Okay, I don't know too many sports.
So wait a minute. So they should stop. You can't have AdWords, Steve. So you can't have AdWords for hockey or football equipment too, because they can be rather dangerous. So I guess we got that too, right?
Yeah. I've been caught with a high stick. I got to tell you, I'd rather get hit with a paintball.
Or some guy was listening to heavy metal.
No equipment. Paintball. Look at the Yeah. Well,
come on, Steve. Some guy was listening to heavy metal and playing first-person shooters. So I guess we could take music and video games out too now. Because they went out and killed a bunch of people afterwards. So.
We'll know they've jumped the shark when they banned Dungeons and Dragons.
That's it.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking sad, isn't it?
It says a lot about the company. Like, that the ethics there are just like kowtowing to the moral majority. Like it's, well, probably a lot of that goes on.
See, the problem is the moral majority actually is the group that likes guns.
Yeah, it was a wrong choice. Wrong choice of words, Steve, I know.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying.
There's definitely a political agenda behind Google these days, and I guess
that's nothing to do with all the lobbying they're doing either, right? No, couldn't be.
All the lobbying, so they're buying up dark fiber, all kinds of shit. Like they're going to be the biggest corporation in the United States in less than a decade more. By the way, this week. It was a decade. Google has only been a public company for 10 years. The growth is from 3 billion to 52 fucking billion.
Well, they don't show any ads for cigarettes or cigars, so apparently they don't want you smoking.
Just pot. I think there's ads for pot on there.
Oh, really?
Well, certainly. I'll tell you, we got that one dojo member we know that sells all the drug paraphernalia, right? So apparently that's okay.
Plenty of pot ads.
Yeah.
But see, that's a legal drug in a number of states, Steve. So there we're on the prescription thing again, eh?
And
you prescribed stuff or?
Well, you know who likes having legalized marijuana the most, right? The states right next to those that don't have it, because boy, are they arresting a lot of people coming across the state line.
Yeah. Wow. Where to?
That's pretty funny. Paintball guns. I have a friend who's in that industry. He's not going to be too happy.
I used to be in that industry. I used to play semi-pro when I was skinnier.
Yeah. Do you think that's a big? I don't think that's a big ad revenue for them either. Make political correct gesture, and it probably costs them pittance.
Paintball and airsoft are going to be incredibly minor markets, but they're lumping it all in because the gun markets are freaking huge.
Michael McKelvin Katz said, "Do no evil," right?
Right.
But he just spelled it wrong. He's got N-O when it should be K-N-O-W. Do no evil. Yeah.
Well, the thing with evil is it depends on who gets to define what's evil.
Right.
It's morally wrong, Steve. It's morally corrupt.
Yeah, but when you have morals like this, there's a pretty, it's a pretty wide line, I'd say.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just keep fucking following the trail here. So since we're on AdWords,
Surprised they haven't come and taken us off the air yet.
yeah. Obviously, they don't listen to the show. All right, Terry. So Google launches ability to track website call conversions in AdWords.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's neat.
interesting program, actually. Probably going to be not very costly.
What's the dealio with it?
You'll get you could almost do, well, it sounded like it was you could do telephone numbers down to the keyword level, but then when you read between the lines, it's more like a group of keywords. So again, they don't want anything too exact. They've even, I just started watching the PPC again, and I see they've even said now there's no such thing as an exact match. We're going to kind of fudge that a little. How's that affected things, Steve?
I'm sorry, I was distracted.
What are we playing today, Steve?
No, we're not. I've been
working. Wow, okay.
deeply involved in the Squidward Hub Pages debate.
Yeah, that's on the list for later.
Yeah. But no, going back to what you were talking about of the call tracking, they're going to put a lot of companies out of business. Good for Google, more data for them. Sucks for everybody else who was trying to make a living. Too bad.
Yeah, there's a number of companies that were trying to perfect call. For local, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a huge deal for anybody that relies on the phone to make sales. And I've got a couple of clients who are in that exact situation where we're doing some call tracking, and I've already gotten emails about switching over to Google so that it's all in one place.
Yeah. How's that sound to you, Steve? Think that's a good idea?
There are levels of goodness. Having all that data in one place for me is probably a good idea because it'll make my job a little bit easier.
Right.
But again, we're back to Google has, at some point, crossed that line from being the company you want to work with to the company that scares you. You know,
well, just too much power in one place for your business.
Well, not only that, but what happens if Google suddenly decides to close your account for some reason?
Yeah. Bye-bye. You're done. Start over.
Who do you call to get it reinstated?
Nobody.
Right. Exactly. At least with these other paid services, if something goes wrong, you can pick up the phone and scream at someone. So there are definitely some trade-offs, and when I'm up in Chicago area next week, we'll be talking to a couple of clients face to face about what to do with this.
Okay, so according to them, a code snippet dynamically inserts a Google forwarding number on the website after a user clicks on AdWords ads. Conversions are tracked whether a user dials the number or clicks on it from their phone. That's it. So is that going to be like mobile phone related, I guess, only, or does that count for just landlines?
Well, if they call the phone number, it tracks it.
Yeah, so it's basically, yeah. So the unique Google forwarding number displays
on a mobile phone, they wouldn't have to dial it. They could just click the number. Yeah. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, Dave, not available in Canada. They don't give us fucking anything, that cocksucker.
Yeah. Well, okay. Where to next? I don't care about that much. What's this alphabet soup here, Terry?
Oh,
the interest graph?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of it's where you get a cross between the social graph and the knowledge graph. Interesting piece. Bill Slosky pointed towards this article. I found it very interesting, very useful for kind of thinking about how you're using concepts on pages and stuff. And how what stuff is best to share, etc. If there is such a thing as a shared graph, the relationship between sharing and content, especially on Google Plus, I think there's something to that because Google definitely has the data and have said they're using +1s, which tells me they're using +1 plus whatever else is useful.
Well, yeah, I think it even makes sense because at one point, you know, they introduced this sort of randomly, if someone doesn't share something with you directly in your social graph, that they might show it to you anyway. And they were talking about how that was based. It was kind of like you're saying. It's somewhat demographic and interest based, meaning, you know, let's say SEO. You know, is 70% of the people I follow, you know, are SEO type people, and do those people share a lot of SEO stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, what percentage of stuff that I share is SEO related, et cetera, et cetera. So
I think for some,
I think to a degree, when they describe that, that is kind of an interest in social graph mapped over together. So I think that makes sense. Sure.
It's interesting stuff, especially when you apply it to selling things, right? How that interest graph, that cross, that shared part, right? How that would be pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, some of the early social graph stuff was all about advertising and targeting influencers and shit like that, right? So, so yeah, a lot of those concepts seem to be in there already. So yeah.
And I was wrong. I said knowledge graph. I meant interest.
Yeah, so it's an interest graph and a social graph sort of mix. And again, I think that's a lot of how they look at, you know, these social connections in the social graph.
Yeah.
You know, how related, you know, is the person posting 10 politically based things on their profile every day and one SEO thing, then they might not be as inclined to randomly show them my stuff because I'm sharing, you know, 9 fucking SEO things and 1, you know, unrelated post a day. So that wouldn't map over the two, you know, as far as the interests of the social graph people when you're going to show it. So.
Used for determining expertise too, right? To some degree.
To a degree. I think that's still more of an interest graph than an authority graph, you know what I mean? Meaning what people are sharing doesn't mean they're an expert just because they're sharing lots of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if lots of people who are experts share it, I would think that
yeah, entirely possible, yeah.
More oomph, right? Because they're actually taking action on your stuff, which is, I always say that's a real influencer. The other stuff is measuring reach. When someone actually takes an action because of something that someone did, that's what really measures influence to me. That's the important stuff. Steve's looking skeptical.
Yeah, well, I think they, you know, potentially been doing it for a while. Like I said, the early social graph patents were about identifying influencers to target with advertising. You know, all roads lead to Rome. To like, it's all about the fucking money. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just so we can get Steve in here and break him away from what he's doing, let's go do our hub pages thing here. So.
Yep.
So, okay, hub pages acquire Squidward.
Squidward.
So what
Yes.
they're putting 2 piles of shit together and hopefully making one big pile of shit. Or...
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to Seth for cashing out and putting another big paycheck in his pocket. Good job there. What Squidward... I love Squidward, okay? I'm over there under a different name, and I enjoy doing strange shit on Squidward. It's fun. I love the community. All of that is going to vanish. Hub Pages doesn't support community like Squidward does. And there were... the biggest complaint over there is the very short notice. The announcement was made on the 15th, and people have been given 2 weeks to clear their shit out or have it moved to Hub Pages. So that's a kind of a stick in the ass because you've been bought, you're migrating to a new platform, but you've only given your users 2 weeks to figure out what they're going to do. You start running into issues like payout levels, because people do make money on their Squidward pages. They'll pay out dollar amounts were raised recently, and basically, if you haven't reached the threshold, all the money that they were going to give you is going to be given to charity, which is fine. They're going to give it to charity, but there's a lot of people who really wanted their money, even if it was only a couple of bucks. It's the general principle of the thing. Then you also have the other issue of people who already have Hub Pages accounts.
Right.
What happens to them? They have to create a new account for their Squidward content that gets brought over. There's no way to mix the two accounts at this point. So you've got a lot of issues there just from a technical standpoint of people who want to continue to manage their pages, having to do it through 2 logins, which sounds an awful lot like Google. And then finally, you've got the issue of all the crap content. Hub Pages, got the crap slapped out of it by Panda for obvious reasons. Squidward did as well. Squidward did a much better job of cleaning up the crap. And it sounds like, from what I've been reading, only the best pages from Squidward are going to get moved to Hub Pages. So if you haven't made backups of your stuff, it may not get moved to Hub Pages anyway. And then it's just gone. So that's a whole other issue that a lot of people are just now starting to figure out. And the question is, how do they determine which was the really good content and which wasn't? Would it be the stuff that got search traffic? That would be my guess. The stuff that made money on AdWords, yeah, that would probably get moved as well. After that, your stuff's probably going to get voted or determined to be not good enough to be worth moving. So if you're not making backups and preparing yourself for this, you're
when is this migration supposed to happen?
The 29th. As in, like, what, 10 days? 9 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave everybody 14 days notice that they're shutting it down, which is better than some. Some have given no notice and just vanished, and others have said you've got 3 months or 6 months. I'm not real sure what the big rush was here to get this shut down and moved to Hub Pages. I mean, it's not like there's any real urgency here, unless somebody wants to flip the switch on the servers and save a few bucks.
Probably.
I don't know that the price has been published, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the $150 million range.
Wow. I always thought that was a charity, but Seth was not part of it?
The whole point behind Squidward and the advertising and the allowing affiliates was that they expected roughly 80% of the revenue generated to be donated to various charities. Whether they actually hit that number or not, I'm not really sure, but I know that none of the pages I've ever built that made money, I've never taken a dime. I've always donated 100% of the earnings to charity. So I think it's very likely that they hit their 80% goal. So, if people wanted to make money and keep it for themselves, that's fine. But the vast majority of it, I'm sure, went to charity. Whether that will continue under Hub Pages, we don't know yet. I know a lot of the really big squidders are moving on and building their own websites and pulling all their content in-house and doing it themselves, rather than deal with Hub Pages. So.
Or they don't think Hub Pages will rank because it's been already ravaged by Panda and hasn't really demonstrated it can get out.
Right. Well, that and Hub Pages is just a pain in the ass to work on. I'm not a big fan of their tools.
Yeah.
I mean, Squidward takes some learning and getting used to it as well. But like I said, they don't have the community that Squidward has.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. I assume it to just go to shit. There will be a handful of people that move over and try, and just quit and move on to some other platform. I don't see this as a good fit. It might have been a good fit going the other direction.
Right.
Bring the good Hub Pages people into Squidward. That might have worked. But I see this direction probably won't do well.
I think a lot of people will just take all their shit before it changes, and they aren't going to have a lot of stuff left.
Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of people learning how to set up websites.
Right. But hub pages, by rights, could say, okay, we're just going to move, instead of doing it and keeping the hub pages tools and domains, say, no, we're going to move the hub pages to Squidoo. And
They could, but they won't.
Huh?
I mean, they could, but they won't. The way I am understanding it, Squidoo itself is going to be getting shut down.
They're fucking idiots then.
Yeah.
I'll say that straight up. They're not.
You know, they could have bought it and left it run. But
Yeah.
I think there's an underlying issue of Panda where they need the quality content to save some of their other content to help them get above that algorithmic issue because they have so much crap content. Rather than going through and doing the hard thing and deleting a bunch of pages and in the millions.
Like what Squidoo did. That's what Squidoo basically did, right?
Yeah. And heck, I even had, I'd probably say 10-15% of the pages I had on Squidoo got blasted when they did their first purge. And I fully expected it and I was fine with it. You don't see that over at hub pages. I don't see the same level of care and cleanup. It's not a community. It's just a place to drop spammy.
Quality control on the UGC garbage.
Yeah. So,
Indeed.
interesting. So those of you who built all these link-heavy Squidoo pages, and they've been running on autopilot for so long, might want to go grab those.
Yeah.
All right, Terry.
Back, looking for content.
All right, Terry.
Actually,
Did you read this one, Steve?
That one.
That's fine.
I love it.
Okay, so for the listeners on the podcast, as well as the visual folks, a story about the Google Knowledge Graph proves to be major PR nightmare for UK brand bakery. So yes, this site Greg's, which is a bakery in the UK apparently, when someone searched for the company, a messed up looking logo came up for the knowledge graph that has Greg's providing shit to scum for over 70 years. Wow. Yeah, that is pretty sexy, man.
Somebody probably didn't have a high opinion of them.
well, here's the thing. Brands aren't supposed to show up in the knowledge graph anyhow. Google can't control this shit. I think it's a joke that they say, oh, brands aren't, so look at the crap. They're going to get sued because they can't control this shit, obviously. That's not supposed to happen. Right? That a brand get a knowledge graph thing.
So when the Greg's account on Twitter tweeted at the Google UK account, the Googler managing the account said, sorry about that, Greg's the baker. We're on it. Throw in a sausage roll and we'll get it done ASAP. So Greg said, sure, okay, fix it and they're yours.
Hey, that's a paid link. Oh, wait. That's there's something wrong there.
Yeah, exchanging services for products. I don't know. It's got to be something wrong there.
Yeah.
Oh, and Google also used a picture of Homer Simpson, so that's probably copyright infringement, right?
Yep.
No? Yeah, come on, boys. I don't see any attribution on that image.
I don't think Google cares about copyright infringement.
No,
It's on
really?
Twitter, too. It's a picture off of Twitter.
Oh, come on, Steve. Google Images has copyrighted stuff in it? You're kidding. Oh. Yeah, that's kind of sexy.
Look at how many retweets there were on that fucking thing. 465.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. All right, man.
Yeah, to me, it's just, you know, first they say brands aren't supposed to show up in it, and then it shows that you know, the way they're getting, that thing is getting so ingrained, spammers are going to figure out how to manipulate that, and you're going to see a lot of this shit.
Well, isn't there an actual image logo tag you're supposed to be using or something like that came out last year? So curious how these guys managed to get that logo in there, what the process was. Or maybe it's like, you know, PageRank or something, that logo had more links to it than the real one, so Google Images just spit that back and then dynamically stuck it in.
Or somebody built a site, put that as the logo and put schema around it, saying that was the organization's logo. The training wheels just fell off, Dave.
Who knows?
Well, let me try putting Greg's logo into Google Images here, see what happens. Well, yeah, it says, see, there you go.
That's how it happened, right?
Well, it's all right, it's number 4, so I'll show you. There's a Google.
It's one of the.
So here's a Google image search for Greg's logo, and yeah, that providing shit that's coming.
It's number 4.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Shouldn't someone's lawyers be looking at that? Maybe, I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see if there's schema or something around that got it chosen over the other 3.
Yeah, did they use the markup? Is what I'm curious.
Yeah, well, or how that image got chosen as the image for the knowledge graph over the real logo. Probably found on the real site.
I don't know. Yeah, you know, let's go make a mirror of the Moz and start messing with it. There we go. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's funny. It's my laugh for the week. So let's see. So what else did you have there, Terry? Upon reconsideration, we did that one. Oh, offline media, oh, wow, okay, yeah. Apparently offline advertising drives traffic. Like that.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? If you put stuff on the radio, Steve, it drives traffic to the website.
No.
No shit.
Yeah. It's true.
I am shocked.
Yep. I think you're pretty dumb if you're using offline media and not incorporating it into search. And as Dave said, the best way to get your brand known is make people search for it.
Yeah.
So search for us on Google, and there you go.
All right, yeah, Terry, this one was making the rounds, wasn't it? I think it was Darren Shaw first kind of brought it to our
this
attention.
is actually pretty interesting, too.
All right, for the people not watching, you better give them a quick rundown.
Sorry, yeah.
The podcast folks, you know. So, yeah, all right, give us the rundown, man, and we'll get into the specifics.
Well, this is kind of some new stuff that's coming out. Kind of looked at it yesterday, so got me, Dave. I forget which article that is. I know it's something new that Darren found and they've been talking about. It's a new list. Oh, it's the carousel has been replaced by these kind of knowledge graph stuff.
More ads. They've been replaced by more ads.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, remember 2 weeks ago, we saw those, we talked about the ads that looked like Google
local packs? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking they're going to get snuck in with this. It's all, you know, as I say, Google trains people in the search to fucking click ads. I think that's where they're kind of at now, as they become more and more deceptive with the ads above the listings. It's getting pretty. You know, the fact that the FTC hasn't kicked them in the balls is beyond me.
Doesn't that go back to our lobbying discussion earlier?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Or someone drops a bag of money in front of the FTC every week. Guy goes in with a briefcase, comes out empty-handed.
Yeah, this is...
And he comes out with a dog, you know, and a white cane and dark glasses.
Yeah, that's pretty nutty looking, eh?
Yeah. I think it's Google starting, you know. They've monetized to the point. Think about it. In 10 years, they've gone from $3 billion to $53 billion.
And I'm guessing, Terry, all these links here probably lead off to a Google local, not to actual website.
Hey, you know what? They don't. They actually, you do not see a phone number or a website address until you get at least, I think it's 2 clicks deep in this bullshit.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to force people to buy that soon. That's my thinking. If you read the whole, it's coming back to me, yeah, where it goes into what is basically a list of pages for that website. Too deep. Clicks in. So they basically kind of,
Yeah.
even your Google local profile isn't that important anymore. I think they're looking to sell this year.
Yeah, we find the local space. I don't envy anyone in there lately. Holy fuck, dude. Between the pigeons and this shit.
Well, I think you just got to work at it, eh, Steve? You don't really work locally too much.
I know. I have several local clients, and they're all looking at other options besides Google.
Right.
Yeah. Mostly.
Well, I guess all the instability in this shit too, it gives you no confidence for forecasting or anything. I guess, Steve, right?
Well, the biggest problem that we've been seeing, at least a couple of my clients have been seeing, is their listings at the beginning screwed up and merged, and then trying to regain control and getting them fixed and cleaned. It's just not worth the hassle. They're spending more time and effort on that type of stuff, and then having to deal with, like you said, the pigeon and everything else that's going on. The amount of money that they're spending could be spent elsewhere and probably more effectively.
Well, you think about it, Steve. It seems almost like the weather changes and Google changes that particular program, right? It went from like profile pages to then they were Google Places, and didn't it go to Google Local, and now it's merging and becoming My Business. Pretty soon it'll be Google's business.
Yeah.
There is that, and it's just a pain in the ass to maintain.
Yeah.
For the record, Terry, they call it your business. They just left the rest of it out, which was your business on Google.
Yeah.
They just didn't finish the sentence with it. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. Yeah, I don't know. What kind of things are they looking at, Steve? Like, what is the replacement to?
Actually, one of them we went with
Yellow Pages and shit, or
even lower, more local than that. We have one that with a printed ad on a placemat at the restaurant. We took some money out of our SEO budget and threw it at that, and just did phenomenal with it. And she just kind of gave me this dirty look, like, why are we spending all this money on internet when I could spend half as much on placemats at the local restaurants? Like, well,
that's old school, though, Steve. I've sold that back in the day.
I know, and so it's one of those eye-opening things where we've got at least one client that I'm meeting with next week that has decided that instead of having us just be their internet marketing wing, we're going to be brought in to help manage all of their marketing from front to back. There is a certain advantage to having grown up in that world.
Yeah. I think that's the people, right? Well, one thing that I've been hearing on the financial channels, right, Steve, is how all the big guys now want to have that e-commerce, because e-commerce is eating in, eating into their business. Like even Walmart. I mean, they haven't had a real presence on the internet, I don't think, for 5 years, have they? Like, I don't think they're made
No, yeah. Their website wasn't that big 5 years ago. They weren't really being very aggressive.
Well, I remember when it broke every Christmas. Remember every Christmas they get more traffic than they could handle. I always kind of thought, fuck, you'd think, you know, last year it wasn't enough. We might want to beef up a bit.
There ain't nothing more fun than Black Friday at a Walmart.
Oh, fucking right.
Well, there we go, boys. We even gave him back the 7 minutes from last week.
There we go.
Remember, we owed him 7, so that's it. All right, anything else that I think we got through the show notes, so unless anyone's got something else.
Nope, got through them all, I think, pretty well, Dave.
All right, well, there you go, folks. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll see you next week, Steve, Terry.
Go save your Squidward pages. Bye.
Yeah, go make lots of money with them hub pages.
I didn't know we had a live audience in the studio, Dave.
Yeah, we do.